Hey everybody, welcome into episode 61 of my YouTube journey. This is my YouTube episode cruise ship edition. My wife and I are celebrating 35 years of marriage. We've been touring the Mediterranean on a cruise ship, and by the time this airs on Tuesday, we'll be almost home. And it's been a wonderful trip. I feel so blessed. 35 years ago, we took our only cruise. And she was in nursing school. I was working for my dad at his cabinet shop as before I started mine. And I think I was making $12 an hour. And we would have never have been able to afford to go on a cruise on our honeymoon if it weren't for her brother. He's 10 years older than her and was already out in the workforce. He's a doctor. And his gift to us for our marriage was a cruise of the Caribbean. And so I've always been very thankful for that. And so we decided to do a cruise for this, and that very brother and his wife are on the cruise with us. So having a good time celebrating the blessed marriage. And listen, any of you guys out there are married, understand that marriage is a gift from God, but it's not always easy. And it takes a lot of ups and downs and deciding to be in it together. And we have survived 35 years of that, and it's been so worth it. So I'm so thankful for her and what she's meant in my life, and I thank God every day for her. So, getting into the card deal, I read something this morning. I get an email every Sunday from Brett McGrath, and he usually puts out some pretty good stuff. So you can subscribe to his email. Now he's a modern guy, but he's a collector, and some of the things he said on there really struck a chord with me. So I wanted to start out this video that way. And then I'm going to show two moves I made based off of what he said. And so two cards I picked up and the moves I had to make to get them and why I did it. So, I don't owe anybody an explanation, but I think it's interesting to hear people's stories and how they got a card, why they got a card, and why it means something to them. So before I do that, I'm going to hit some of the high points to what Brett said in his email. So this is called the Weekly Rip. That's the email that I get every Sunday. He said, collecting with intention means slowing down and remembering your reasons for being here. It means taking ownership. It means being the CEO of your PC. You don't control every part of life, work, family, deadlines, but your collection is yours. It's your vision, your strategy, your decisions. You get to define what matters and why. When you run your collection like a CEO runs a business, everything changes. You set a clear vision for what you want to build. You create a strategy for how you'll get there, budget, priorities, projects. You establish criteria that help you stay focused when distractions hit. You make decisions based on purpose, not pressure. It's not about profit, it's about direction. It's about collecting like someone who gives a darn. So, that really struck a chord with me. I wasn't going to do a video. I was just going to let next week be blank. But I really like getting one out every week. And my wife's at the pool. This is our one day at sea. Every other day we've been at some port. We went to Malta, Sicily, Naples. We even hit Tunisia and Northern Africa. So it's been really amazing. But today's our one day at sea as we travel to Spain. And so, anyways, she's at the pool. I'm here in the room. And I thought, man, let's do a video real quick. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have kind of changed my direction over the last 5 years that I've been in the hobby. Been back in the hobby, I should say. Greg Miller and Darren were talking about on their latest off topic. He even brought me up. He said, Tony's been able to pivot and he doesn't have any qualms about saying he did. And no, he doesn't feel sorry about it or make an excuse. And I don't. So, listen, if you collect the way you collect, and when you collect something, it's in stone in your collection forever, I applaud that. I'm not saying that's wrong. But for me, some of my priorities in my collection have changed. Some have stayed the same. But one of the big priorities has been signed cards. And you know that by seeing my videos or looking at my Instagram. So, there was a card that came up. It was expensive. And in order to get that, I either got to come out of pocket with a lot of money, or I got to figure out some cards in my collection that maybe they're a little expendable. So we're going to get right down to it. Here is collection move number one. When I get a signed card of a player and I have an unsigned card, the signed card always trumps the unsigned card, and I don't want doubles. So I take the unsigned card and I sell it. And in some cases, they're really nice cards. They just don't have a signature on them. But if I'm going to go down that signed card route that really turns me on right now, that's what I'm going to do. Now, why do I like signed cards? I did a whole video on that. Go back a couple of months and you'll see it. But there's a couple of reasons. One is, and again, I'm the CEO, so I make the rules. When I hold a signed card in my hand that player touched, it is so cool to me. It goes back, takes me back to my youth and trying to get autographs of players. And if you got one, how happy it made you. And you cherish that card. And I still have the cards from my youth that players signed, including a Mickey Mantle card that he signed for me in person. So that is cool to me. Like his PSA DNA is actually on that card, the DNA of that player. He took the time to sign the card for someone, and that's cool. So whether it's Mantle, Jackie Robinson, Bob Feller, Stan Musial, whoever, it's cool. You know, I got a Phil Necro that he signed for me one time. So any of those are cool. So I love that part of it. I also love the extra challenge of the chase. So finding a card that's signed is so much harder than finding a raw card. Normally, Mickey Mantle's cards, for example, are 1% of all of his graded cards are signed in the Universal Pop count, 1% or less. And so he has a ton of cards out there. But if you figure out how much, so if you look at what percentage of his cards are graded a 9 or a 10, it's probably higher than a 1%. So a signed card is more rare than a highly graded card. So that's cool to me. And it doesn't cost as much as getting him in a 10. So that's really cool. Now, maybe one day it will, but right now it doesn't. Autograph cards are going up. So you got to, come out with some dough. So I had this card come up, and it's a 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle, and it's signed. So it's not the 52 Tops. I don't know if I'll ever own one of those. But a 52 Bowman, while expensive, isn't in that stratosphere of $500,000 like a 52 Tops would be. So one came up, I had the ability to grab it, and so I started thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? Am I going to come off some money, or am I going to find some cards in my collection? And it hit me. I had cards in my collection that total up. So basically, what I asked myself is, if I take these cards, would I trade them to somebody like at a show or in my house, say, I'll give you these 4 cards for that one? Because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just selling the cards to get the money to pay for the one card. So that's what I did. And normally what I do, I go on Facebook Marketplace and I sell them there. Now, this was back in August. Before I do that, I'll reach out to my buddies and say, hey, I got these cards. I'm going to be moving them. Let me know if you're interested before I put them out there. So I did that with my group of friends, and 2 of them actually sold to friends. So the first one that sold to a friend was Mike Petty, claimed my Stahlmeyer Mickey Mantle. Now, I did not have doubles of that one, and I hated to lose that one, but I knew it was something that I could take a big chunk of money to put towards the new card, and I knew it was movable. Like I could sell it in a day. And so Mike Petty wanted that one, so I sold that to him. And it's the 1953 Stahlmeyer Mantle. It's the one with the purple background. It's not the yellow one. And when I bought that card, he let me know how bad he would love to have that card. Great card. It's in a 3, which actually is one of the highest graded cards out there of that particular card, because they're hard to find in decent shape. So that was one. The other one was a 54 Topps Hank Aaron rookie card. Now, dang, Tony, it was in a PSA 4. It's right here. Why would you give that one up? Well, my reasoning was I've got a signed one. And the signed one I have, I consider to be the best signed 54 Topps rookie card of Henry Aaron in the world. It's that rookie signature with the loopy H that he changed after his rookie year. And to have that one in my collection is one of the jewels and gems of my collection. So I could get rid of my unsigned one, even though it had a PWC sticker on it and the whole deal. I was able to move that one pretty quickly on Facebook. The other one was a 1955 Topps Jackie Robinson in a 7. Beautiful card. And I was able to move that one quickly too, because Jackies are really sought after right now. But I have that one in a signed card as well. It's the Best Wishes Jackie Robinson card. So I didn't need that one anymore. I don't collect in a way to invest. So I'm just going to sell it for market value. I'm not going to try to get rich off of it. I want to put it out there on Facebook at a price that will sell quickly. And then the other one was a 54 Topps Jackie Robinson. And that one, another one of my friends, Greg Miller, said he would take. So he's trying to grab some Jackie Robinson. So I'll show all those cards as I'm talking, and you can see what I gave up. Now, what I gave those up for fits into my collecting sphere of what I'm trying to do, and that's grab signed cards. So again, this 52 Mantle, it's got a few creases in it. It's still amazing though. And it's that ballpoint pen signature. The signature is fantastic. It's indented into the cardboard. So I'm so happy to be the placeholder for that right now and to cherish that card. And so I've added that to my Mickey Mantle run, which is up to 6 cards. And here they are right here. And I'm going to keep building on it. Now, I know getting a 51 Bowman rookie card is going to run me, it's going to be really expensive. So it's going to come to the point where I don't really have enough cards to move to get cards. And that's come up recently. And my next video is going to be my latest pickup video. And you'll see one of those, actually 2 of those cards in there that were pretty pricey, but I wasn't able to move cards to get them. I just had to pay for them. So that's the first move I made. The second move I made is right here. Another one of my focuses, besides signed cards, are all-time great Hall of Fame cards. Like the pre-war stuff. In the pre-war, you're not really finding signed cards necessarily, but there's some greats. You know, you got Ruth, Wagner, Cobb, all those guys, Walter Johnson, Mathewson, Smokey Joe Wood. You know, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's an all-time great. I love his story. So I collect those cards. I'm doing the Cracker Jack set. So I love the pre-war stuff too. There was a pre-war card that a guy that I follow on Instagram, I talk to him on occasion. I don't consider him a friend, but he's an acquaintance. He posted a card on his Instagram story for sale, and I just commented, said, dude, that's a beautiful card. And next thing I know, he's DMing me saying, hey, would you be interested? And I'm like, well, I mean, I love the card, but the price tag you got on that, I can't pay that right now. I don't have that money. And he said, would you be willing to trade? I said, let me look. Let me see what I got. Now, this one was very recent. And so I started looking through my cards. And again, I had picked up some cards that were signed. So I had doubles. And then I had to figure out a couple of other cards that weren't signed that, again, kind of like the Stallmeyer Mantle, I had to figure out a card that had a big enough price tag on it that would put a dent in the cost of that card. And one of them in particular really gave me pause. It's kind of like when I sold some of my Mantles and to get the Josh Gibson, I had to give up my 52 Mantle. You know, out of all the cards I've given up over the years, that one was the hardest one to part with. And I'm not going to say I regret it, but it left a dent. So I had to do that with a card, and it's this one right here. I had to give up my W514 Shoeless Joe Jackson card. And I hated giving that up. I've got 6 signed Joe Jackson Playing Days cards. Now I have 5. And to give that one up hurt, but that cost of that card since I've owned it for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it's been, has just gone up, up, up. I had some equity in it. It made sense to move it. There's a couple of my Joe Jacksons that are untouchable in my collection. I hated to give that one up because it broke up my W514 Black Sox set. So now I have all of them except that one. But I really wanted this card. And you'll see that card in just a minute. The other card I gave up was a 1952 Bowman Willie Mays. And it's right here. It's a great card. I'm not really a Mays collector. I've talked about that in the past. And so that was one that, the money, that was actually the last one. That was the one I'd gotten close, and I said, okay, this one will fill that gap and get me to the number I think will be acceptable to him. The other one, I wrote all these down to make sure I got them right, was the 52 Bowman Mantle. So since I picked up the signed one, I had one in my collection that was unsigned. So that one went into the kitty. The other one that went in was a 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson. And I'm a Jackie Robinson collector. You'll have to wait until next week's pickup video to see why that unsigned one was expendable. Wink, wink. I can't wait to show you what I picked up to make that so. But I was able to move that one. And again, Jackies have gone up. I had equity in that card quite a bit, actually. So I was able to move it. And then the Joe Jackson. So there was 4 cards that I gave up, and I just showed all 4 of them to you for this one big one. And it's one I've had my eye on for a while, and he's one of the all-time greats. And I couldn't wait to add this to my collection, and it's right here. It's this blue background E90-2 Honus Wagner. And again, I did throw a little bit of cash in to fill the difference, but honestly, I had cards that were expendable to me. I'll accept the Joe Jackson. And again, the Mays, I'm not really a Mays collector, so it wasn't hard to give that card up. But to come up with that amount of equity in card capital cash and then get this card in return was a big deal. So this is, a big card in my collection now. So that's the moves I've been able to make. Again, this isn't a signed card. It's a pre-war great, and it's this. I love the blue Honus Wagner. It's just like I've got another one. It's the pastel Sporting Life Wagner with the same image. So it's kind of the poor man's T206 Wagner that I'll never own, and so it's cool because that T206 to me, that one and the 52 Mantle are the 2 pinnacles of our pre-war or even collecting atmosphere here that we do with vintage baseball cards. So I'll never get the T206, but I can have the ones that look like them. So loved adding this one. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you have done the same deals as I did? I'm so happy to be in this world of vintage collecting, the YouTube world, with my YouTube buddies, my Instagram buddies, the people I've met. The friendships are priceless to me, and I'm so thankful for every one of you guys. But look forward to sharing my latest pickups in next week's video. Until then, remember, Tony loves his baseball cards. Tony loves his baseball